Okay, sorry for that. I think I'm good to go. Nope. Psych. Anyway. Why is that? 24, 48. It was playing. Well, this is embarrassing. Try reactivating it and seeing if it can. Oh my god. 24,000? The wireless feature sucks. A little bit. It's actually really good. Dang it. Audio. That makes sense. Okay. Tempting an aggregate live on television. Let's see if I could do it. Use as an input and an output. So, microphone. AirPods Pro. Oops. Wait, what? Yes. Okay, cool. Drift correction only for the Pro since it's wireless. Okay. Rename this as Ableton AirPod. AAA. It doesn't? In general? Oh, well, okay, that doesn't matter. Whatever. I don't know why I'm overthinking this. I'm just leaving it that. And then Ableton webcam screen, but you could still hear me. And to that effect, if I were to just... There we go. And no need for input. Okay, we're good. Hallelujah. Double check and make sure that I am recording, which I wasn't. And also the stream. Then we're good. The ripe old age of 32, I figured out. A naming convention. Shout out Moist Critical. You just came on my headphones super loud. Hey, it's my roommate. If you're just tuning in magically, hello. It's the creepiest shot ever. You are very much in the right place at the right time. Heaven's Gate. I'm checking to see if the live stream sounds good, which is I opened up YouTube. Massive ADD. It's a fucking Memorial Day weekend. I'll tell you what. Sunday, fun day. Checking for my alternative account to make sure the Codakolor one's live. And it appears I am. I'm gonna play something and just hear myself for a sec. Yeah, my headphones just go. Lol, because I'm on them. Alright, let's see. Well, that's not gonna help. This isn't gonna help either. I can hear myself just fine. So many revved up engines. I don't like it. Back to... Okay. Okay. For business. Okay. Needs some serious work, obviously. Almost had that down. I'm gonna have to re-record that. I love the trace effect, or rather the feedback loop effect. I love it through OBS, and this computer handles it quite well. So, gonna have to do something kind of trippy with it. really got into it too, and then my roommate showed up, so I unlocked the door, hence the offline culture I just took there mid-show, or mid-video. This needs work on it, but most importantly, it hits the way I need it to. However, there's a considerable amount of distortion that occurs. I mean, duh, but also, I don't know if it's causing phase out in the bass. We can check for this if we use a mid-side. And yes, I am wearing AirPods. Ask me how my love life is. Utility, main. I'm going to flip it to mono really quick. You could do this with ozone too, which I am actively using on the master chain as well, just because I need to get it loud. I realize EDM sound engineers, live sound engineers, are kind of a dying breed. Didn't even exist really while I was working at Beta, but I realized really quickly how it's the important factor that most of the music's going to be clipping anyway. Not so much in the digital domain, but just in a representative analog domain it is. Oh boy. I think that may have been a gunshot. It's a firework until we hear the sirens. I can imagine living in a ridiculously over-infiltrated... Whew. Okay, I gotta stick with it. I have a lot of things on my mind. I got bit by a mosquito a little while ago. I am outside listening to what I hope are fireworks. And best of all, happy Memorial Day. I'm glad I am not working today. It is a Sunday. Most people aren't working Memorial Day weekend. But shout out to the service industry that has to literally find a job today. And a lot of them, God bless them, haven't slept yet. So, anyways, before I get sidetracked, this is a pretty good mix now, representation. So I should be able to identify whether or not in mono sounds right. It's hitting solidly mid-region. Perhaps it's the frequency response. Let's take a look. For all I know, I'm lacking lows. It's happened many, many times before. This is what... Oh my god, what am I doing? There must have been a reason. Something must have been hidden. Would that... Yeah, that would massively affect... Okay. First of all, phase issues in the low end. Preferably if you can just avoid using the EQ. I've been hinted at that being the success factor for loudness. So, instead of trying to use a maximizer, which I probably have hilarious settings, which means that everything else is compressed. If it's at -6, it means that the sum of... Now the nice thing is, Ableton, you're not actually truly clipping. You're not causing any damage to the speakers. Fuck the speakers up. You literally have a shelf. So, oh, that kid's biking super fast. So, Denver just introduced the new VO scooters, which is a company from California. Already has some tenure with it, but they make, I guess they make their scooters in-house. And I'm just watching kids like fly by here. There's a couple, cute as ever, literally dressed up like it's date night or something, scootering on a VO. And I'm a micromobility guy myself, so to watch the ambitious state of humans trying to use as many people on one scooter as possible is now as equivalent as a kid biking to try to catch up to an e-scooter. It's pretty funny. That was funny to watch. Okay. So that being said, we're pretty much neutral there, neutral there. I am using... Oh my god, why? Oh, that's fine. 100% makes me a little weary. Running it in parallel is actually the best way to do it. Incremental. You remember, you're not going for loud. Was the style at the time, but also most people are not going to play back your stuff. I cannot speak for people. I actually don't know, and there's really no set rules. But the most important thing to know is that you're not truly clipping, so go loud. Just know it is going to sound a little crunchy on the digital domain. Analog, we love that. Pretty neutral with a high shelf boost. I do this because I'm actually fearful it's not going to be as sharp, but it's not. You boost over harmonics, you're not going to get precision. It's lack of how much mid to side delta there is, or difference there is. Where would it get muddy? Okay, that's where it gets a little weird. So, I believe in the would have been an overdub. I excited each of these as a tape channel. So, I don't think I only excited the drums really. Drums tape, DR tape. Off. Okay. Didn't run the vocals. The bass, I most certainly ran a tape through that. Nope. Synth? What was it? Was it just the drums? Just trying to make my drums super extra. It doesn't sound bad. The only thing is that the frequency response in the mid's a little weird. Hence probably that dip that I initially put in the EQ. These mosquitoes are getting to me. Want to make sure there's no other tape. Ableton, if you're listening, put a search command in the top right, please. I would love to be able to search clips by asset type. Would be great. Snare, hi-hat. And now you're saying what? Top left? In the project would be dope. But as if it were Spotlight. Back when Spotlight was more so over there. That would make it so much easier to pull up, like, in this instance, I'm trying to figure out where exactly the tapes are. Because in my head, I've so labeled it tapes. That'd be great. That'd be great. Sound vocal. Atmosphere, SFX, K. Drums audio, did I not relay? Kick, I may have. Yeah, kick tape. Okay, so that's where I was most concerned about. The kick it has a shelf at 100, and then I dipped it even more. Hence, it doesn't even sound full. But the problem is, as soon as I lower, I risk having phase invert occur, clashing of the kick, and then right after the sidechain bass. But then if I've tuned it correctly, or I mean if I've EQ'd it correctly, the fuck? I was really going for that V sound. Does it come across right? I think I'm dipping too much. Okay. I think that might be my problem. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and disable these nodes. And then the release is about right if it matches the millisecond timing of each kick. Which now, oh, I wish you could do millisecond. Hey, Ableton, if you could put a millisecond counter on the bottom, that'd be dope. Thanks. Okay. Jeez. Wait. There was a reason for that. No, there was not. Oh my god. Yeah, I might be overdoing it on the final. I just want my kick to be heavy like Flume, you know? On the drop, he always gets the first kick the loudest possible in the mix. That's pretty good. That's actually, I mean, contrast, of course. No, we can go. Wait. The contrast point leading right up to it has absolutely no merit. I think, well, being way too critical about it, but basically this note up and then cut right at the 4. Shout out Fred B, by the way, hit me up. Can't get too critical on the drums. Ever since 2011 I got comments on my drums being the best part of the mix, so thank God, because if your snare sounds like shit, you are fucked. And I am so I hate when percussion's out of phase. It's like you work so hard to get everything else done and then your snare sounds like shit. FL Studio. No, I'm kidding. Taking pictures with hearts, spending all of my money. If you want to beg, why don't you say so, yeah. Kiss me. You gotta believe me. If you want to beg, why don't you say so, yeah. Ex-Wife is now officially all out on streaming platforms. Starting Monday, you can download it off a store like Beatport. I don't know how. And future apologies to Fred V. I'm sorry, just cannot get a hold of you for some reason. Shout out to who else did I steal from? Oh, Crazy Loop. Oh my god, this guy's just defunct. I hope he's around because the Numa Numa song, Dragons John Tinte, originally came out in Romania. This triplet gay duo, Ozone, very, very on it. He was their lead singer. So he started his own independent thing in 2009. I believe it was 2009. The music video for Crazy Loop, Ma. You'll never get a title like that ever in the States, but boy, it's a fucking banger. It's a great song by itself, but it just happened to fit the vibe of what I'm trying to make the lyrics work out, which is why I'm saying, with apologies, I'm just trying to tell a bigger story. And I love to use that element of random spontaneity without being a spaz. It's tough. When you're making spazzy music, that's what you gotta do. So it's more so subtractive mixing. That's why I go to town when it comes to grouping specifically, just like subfiles. That's all I really think about. These tracks are subfiles. They all exist here. And it is really cool to have access to this, but I'm realizing as I'm going through this, I have a lot of EQing going on. I don't know if that affects my loudness, but that can't be my mentality. I am going to play it at a high volume. I have a gain knob, so I could do that. But more importantly, the more readily available it is, plays into my FOMO if it doesn't hit right the first hit. So, which is why, I don't know, it's really tricky to balance how much bass there is right before the first kick, because that first kick, the most impressive thing is how powerful those subwoofers can get. And you have to create the contrast of, you want to make the biggest boom on the block. If you have one time, you got to do it on the 33rd measure. Which, do I do it on the 33rd measure? I don't think this linearly lines up. I did. 33, that's your magic number. That's got to be the loudest part of your song. The kick tape starts a little bit early. That's concerning as fuck. Pardon my Memorial Day language. But that would not work anyways. Did I do that for width reasons? I did balance out the low end, so in attempts to get rid of phase inversion on the low end, I didn't double stack my... That's how you can flatten out a bass, is if you double stack your lower frequencies. But also just proper roll off of an EQ is perhaps the most important thing, because then otherwise you're just sub-commanding a filter. Digitally, that makes no difference, so you can run that as hot as you want, according to a sound tech who I work with. Most sound techs wouldn't tell you anything about the red line theory, but that's great. Good to know. And shout out Dr. Bill. Sorry. Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill. Dr. Bill? Who's Dr. Bill? Anyways, this concludes tonight's fucking whatever the hell it was. Apologies for the language once again. I'm a little bit tired and I've been overworked this weekend, but what a great time to do Ableton, right? I'm going to check the recording back, make a quick reel, and do this every Sunday. Sunday, fun day. Starting Memorial Day weekend. What a great time.